Hello, my name is Tony Beers, and this is Movie Grades.
And just like the movies, we play out our last scene.
Hey everybody, Tony Beers here again, and in this episode of Movie Grades, I'm going to talk about Heavy Mental, a rock and roll bloodbath. Now this is another movie that I bought at the Motor City Comic Con, and it's directed by Mike Hartman of Silver Bullet Pictures. And you can buy this movie at silverbulletpictures.com. It's also a Troma release, so you can also buy it at Troma.com as well. I'll put a link up in the description so you can go check them out. And since this is an indie movie, I'm going to grade it on a different scale than what I would a big budget Hollywood movie. Now, obviously, Heavy Mental borrows its name from Heavy Metal, one of my very favorite animated movies from the 80s. Now, the main character in this movie, some people will refer to as the Guitar Hero, and obviously they couldn't use Guitar Hero as their title because of the video game. Now, one small problem I have about this movie is it is classified as a horror, or it's in the horror genre, and it's not really a horror movie. I mean, if you look it up on IMDb, it says it's a horror. It's kind of presented as a horror movie. There's a skull on the cover of the DVD. There's blood on the cover of the DVD. In fact, as part of the subtitle, it says Rock and Roll Bloodbath, in which there is a lot of blood in the movie, but just because it has a lot of blood and gore, I don't think that qualifies it as a horror movie, because really it's not that scary. Perhaps I'm just desensitized from all the horror movies that I have seen, but this movie is not very scary at all, so I wouldn't describe it as a horror movie. Although, like I said, it does have a lot of blood and guts in it, but you know, so does other action movies have a lot of blood and guts, such as Kill Bill or Sin City, but they're not horror movies. I would describe this movie as a superhero action comedy. Like I said, this is a Troma movie. The Toxic Avenger, I wouldn't classify that as a horror movie either, although some people would. And this movie definitely follows along the lines of The Toxic Avenger. In fact, it is pretty much an homage to The Toxic Avenger, so if you like The Toxic Avenger, you'll probably like this movie as well. This is the first superhero out of Detroit. Well, besides RoboCop or The Crow. Alright, it's not the first superhero from Detroit, but he is a creature of superhuman size and strength. This movie is so much of a homage to The Toxic Avenger. It even has a famous head-crushing scene that Toxic Avenger had, and it even has a special guest appearance by Lloyd Kaufman himself. Now this movie opens up with an introduction by the lovely Monique Dupree, who plays a sort of Elvira type character, introducing us to the movie and giving us the basic plot of the movie. The basic story of this movie is that a criminal kingpin known as Mrs. Delicious is terrorizing the city of Detroit. She's taking back her money from the people who she loaned it to, and if they can't pay, they pay with their lives. And it's up to our hero Ace, with his possessed guitar that transforms him into a creature of superhuman size and strength, to defeat Mrs. Delicious. Now, the story is probably the best thing about this movie. Now, like I said, this is an indie movie. It doesn't have the big special effects or the great actors that big budget movies would have. And what it lacks in special effects, it makes up for in this pretty good story. Now, as you can tell, I'm a comic book fan, so I really like superhero movies, and this is what this basically is a superhero origin movie. Now, I would go as far as to say that the story is a lot better than some of these big budget movies out there right now. Another thing that I really like is the characters. It has really good characters in this movie. What really sticks out is the villains. It has really unique and colorful villains. Now, just like my 100 Miles to Midnight review, I like these villains so much, I drew some pictures of them. Now, how can you not like villains that have such great names such as Mrs. Delicious, Sour Pussy, Ginger Snatch, or Cockboy? Another thing I like about this movie is a lot of cool and funny pop culture references. And they're subtle too, not like some other movies that try to throw it in your face. This movie has references to such shows as The A-Team, television commercials such as the Kool-Aid Man from the Kool-Aid commercials, movies such as The Breakfast Club, and Back to the Future. And the Back to the Future reference is where Lloyd Kaufman makes his appearance. Now this movie, although it doesn't have really big name stars, it has a few stars that have been in some big movies, such as Monique Dupree, who's been in The Replacements, American Gangster, and most recently in Step Up 3D. It also has Brenna Roth, who was in Spider-Man 3, Zack and Mary Make a Porno, Adventureland, The Road, and another Troma film, Poultrygeist. This movie also stars Adam Showers as Morbid Melvin. Now, for those of you who don't know, Morbid Melvin is a character from a Detroit TV show, Wolfman Max Chiller Drive-In. Now, the director, Mike Hartman, also directed this TV series. I'll also put a link to Wolfman Max Chiller Drive-In website in the description below as well. Now, like I said, this is an independent movie, so some of the special effects aren't the greatest, some of the actors aren't the best, and it's just not as good quality as some big budget Hollywood movies. Now, that's to be expected. However, like I said, the story I really liked, the characters I really liked, and like I said, it is an action comedy, so it is funny. This is an unrated movie, so it has a few scenes of extreme violence. If it was rated, it would have been rated R, so if that's not your type of thing, you probably wouldn't like this movie. Like I said before, this is a Troma movie. Fans of Troma will know what a Troma movie is, and this definitely falls in that category of a Troma movie. It has the boobs and it has the blood, just like every Troma movie. If you're a fan of Troma movies, especially The Toxic Avenger, you'll most likely like this movie. And so, my final grade for Heavy Mental, a rock and roll bloodbath, I have to give it a solid B. And remember, for those of you who want to purchase this movie, you can buy it at silverbulletpictures.com or Troma.com. And I'll put a link of both of those websites in the description. My name is Tony Beers, and I'll see you next time.